Mr. Khan, Awaz the Voice.
Yes.
What's your subscription and how do you see YouTube as an option for saying exactly what you want to say to the world?
Well, I want to tell you about my experience. Let me just give a brief about my background. I've had the privilege of working with print, television, and digital, all three mediums. So I'll be doing almost 3 decades of journalism very soon. So, and when I see the present state of affairs in journalism, I'm concerned like all others. And that's why when I moved on to the digital platform, which is Awaz the Voice, we took a decision, a policy decision, that we are not going to do any polarized content. We will be doing inclusive content rather than doing polarizing content. So first 2 years were pretty difficult, and we are now running in the 4th year. But after the 2nd year, these first 2 years we are all struggling and we were worried whether this kind of content is going to work or not. But after 2 years it started looking up and we started getting more and more views. So we took a decision not to do the kind of content which is happening elsewhere. But I want to give you my take on what I feel, what I've been thinking about the larger questions which we are confronted with, as far as journalism today is concerned. You see, and I assume that when we talk about vanity, we are talking about individual journalists who moved away from the conventional journalism, they're doing their own thing. Many of them are our friends, they're colleagues, some of them spoke today also. And if you look at where they're coming from, they are essentially very, very people with strong ideas, who are very confident, fiercely independent, and they want to do something on their own. Some of them were underrated journalists. They were pretty good at their job. They were great storytellers, but they did not get an opportunity. But with the advent of social media and YouTube especially, now there's endless opportunity, and they don't have to worry for their salaries, they don't have to worry for the editorial policies, they don't have to worry for the style sheets.
Censorship?
Yeah, censorship, of course. You see, I believe that we operate under freedom of speech, which our constitution guarantees. But our constitution also has a rider to it, which is public order. So what is happening is that the old school of journalism, which Barkha was talking about, the legacy journalism, I partly agree with her, and I partly agree with what Bhupender was saying. Bhupender was saying that this is not the end, this is not the graveyard, we are not standing in the graveyard of journalism. I agree with him, on that stand. But as far as Barkha is concerned, that we are, the old school of journalism need to unlearn. I agree with her on that take. So what I'm trying to say is that we are going through a lot of revolution. World, it's not just in India, everywhere in the world. And what is happening is that the old school of journalism is questioning. The people who've been there for 30 years, 40 years, they're questioning themselves that if they're not present on the YouTubes, they're not getting the numbers, are they not good journalists? So what we need to unlearn and what we need to understand is the changes which are happening, the evolution which is happening in the entire, not just journalism is a part of the entire society, the civilizations. So what is happening is that there are three. I will try to explain my point in 5 C's. Since everybody's been talking about C's today. One is the competition which is happening in the conventional media, which is news channels and all, the choice which the social media brings, and the confusion which is happening around us, all around us. So people are looking for, people are wondering where do they go for credible information. So what is happening is that this confusion is happening essentially because of the global churning, the order, the changes in the economy, and the traditional societies are collapsing. So people are feeling lost, they're feeling left out. The children are challenging the traditions they've been following. So a Muslim man would be wondering why his son is not wearing a skull cap while offering prayers. Why is he not? Why has he shaved off his beard and he's going to, his office? Similarly, a Hindu man will say that why is my son? He doesn't even touch the egg. He's suddenly started eating chicken. What is happening? There's something wrong around my culture, people are questioning the cherished notions which were there. So what is happening essentially is that people are clinging on to their own identities. They're trying to, they're closing instead of opening up. They find comfort in their own communities. So what has happened is this has given rise to this YouTube channels which are riding on the, essentially on the wave of politicization, the polarization, which is essentially political. They are not doing, you'll see that all the popular YouTube news channels are not sports, they are not investigative journalism, they are not health, they are not environment, they are essentially political. So what is happening is that they are riding on the political, sort of wave, and see, there's no harm in criticizing government, there's no harm in criticizing political parties. There's no harm in even criticizing court judgments. You as journalists, you're supposed to do it. But what happens, the problem arises when the YouTube channels, the news channels, they are working as per certain agenda. And what happens is when they start getting popular, they're creating an identity for themselves. And then they start liking that identity, and that's when the vanity comes. I'm not saying that all YouTube news channels, the people who are running it, they have vanity. Some of them are very genuine, they believe in, they have the conviction, they have dedication, and they are self-motivating. So let's not take it away from them. So what I basically want to say is that the confusion which we are surrounded with is giving rise to polarization, and this is going on and on. We as journalists today, what we need to do is give them solutions. Give them solutions, give them reassurance, give them security, which is worrying them as far as their identity is concerned.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Khan. That was a fairly long and winding monologue, but we learned a lot.